So as soon as I turn that on, you'll notice that it starts captioning any of the audio it's picking up from my microphone. So imagine I'm now in a meeting, I've got my laptop with me, and I'm physically sitting in the room with people. In the past, I would have had to have managed without any kind of captions. Now I can just quietly turn them on and have them showing there on my device. And I can put them anywhere on the screen that suits me, and it will sit there as a kind of overlay over the screen. So really powerful capability here to just bring captions wherever I want them. I don't have to think about it, they're always there if I need them. And I think this is going to be useful for anybody. You don't have to be hard of hearing like myself. You can imagine situational examples where perhaps you're in a noisy environment and need to turn captions on. You can very quickly do that here. And the last thing to say on this is that you'll see that I can come here and choose caption style. And what I can actually do is change how these captions look altogether. So perhaps I want a black background with white text. Perhaps I want the text itself to be bigger. Whatever it is that I want to do, I can adjust that here, and then obviously make the window bigger as well if I need to. So really powerful capability that I think has just been a real game changer for me, and I think it will be for many others too. So that's live captions. That was a new feature just brought out in Windows 11. If we continue on past that side of things, there's a couple of other things I want to show you. One is a feature that we call focus mode. So if I close this video down, if you look towards the bottom here, if I'm in trying to concentrate on something, all these little bubbles, these little kind of reminders that there are notifications waiting for me, those can be a distraction. Maybe you've got apps flashing at you. And what we've brought out is this kind of focus mode feature where if I click on the clock down here, you'll notice right there in the calendar, there is a focus button. Now I already have Do Not Disturb on, which stops notifications popping up if somebody sent me a message in Teams right now, for example. But it doesn't stop all these other things flashing and reminding me that they're there. So perhaps I want to focus, and maybe I say, you'll see here it's got 45 minutes. I can set it 60 minutes. I just want an hour to concentrate on something that I want to work on. As soon as I click focus, you'll notice that down in the bottom of the taskbar, all those little bubbles disappear. Anything that comes through is not going to flash at me to tempt me back to those apps. I can just concentrate on whatever it is I want to work on without those potential distractions. And this timer will keep going, reminding us how long we've got left. And I can optionally put in a break as well during that time if I want to check back on things. So just a really powerful feature that is very easy to find. It's right down there in the calendar and available whenever we need it. So great feature to have at your fingertips there. And you can imagine all sorts of uses for that. When it comes to perhaps wanting to use our voice to control the device, you may be aware we had this in Windows 10, but what we've done is made it a little more powerful in Windows 11, which is this ability to use your voice to dictate anything. You don't need extra software for that. We have that built in. And Windows key H basically brings that up. And as soon as I start talking, you'll see that it's dictating anything that I say. And one of the things that we've brought in with Windows 11 is this automatic punctuation. So you'll see that it's going to add full stops, commas, etc. And that's controlled here. I can turn on and off automatic punctuation, which is a new ability here. So that's great. That lets us dictate now. Very easy, Windows H, any app that you can type something into, you can bring that up and have controlled. But what if I want to take that a step further and actually use my voice to control the whole device? So you might have limited mobility, for example. And so what we've brought out, it's still kind of in preview, is a new capability called voice access. So if I scroll down here towards the bottom under interaction, we have speech. And if I click on that, you'll see it's voice access preview. So if I turn this on, you'll see a bar appears along the screen, not too unlike the one that we had for live captions. But what it does is it says it's waiting to take any control, any commands from me using my voice. So let's imagine that perhaps I want to use my voice to basically control the mouse cursor. What I'll do is I'll show you a few ways we can do that. One is with a grid, where we can have a grid brought up on screen and gradually home in on where it is that we want to click on. Another option is where we can say, show me all the numbers that represent everywhere I could click, and then I can say that number to actually click on it. So let's see how that works. Voice access wake up. Show grid. 4. 4. 1. 7. Undo. 4. 1. Click. Voice access sleep. So there what I did was I basically got a grid to appear. Now it didn't recognize my Scottish accent saying the number 4, but apart from that it worked pretty effectively, where what we did was we gradually homed in on where it was I wanted to click on my screen. If I decided that maybe I'd gone in too far and that wasn't what I wanted, I can say undo and it takes me back a level, which you saw there. If alternatively I want to use numbers to kind of maybe quickly just choose an option, I can do that. So let's do that just now. Voice access wake up. Show numbers. 22. Click 22. Voice access sleep. So this time round you saw numbers appearing and all the options that I could click on, allowing me basically to quickly home in on where it is that I want to click with just by using my voice. So let's imagine then that I want to perhaps control an app on my device. I can tell Windows to go to that app, and then maybe I want to scroll up and down the page. So let's try that out as well. Go to voice access wake up. Voice access wake up. Go to Edge. 1. Scroll down. Start scrolling down. Stop scrolling. Voice access sleep. So there, what you heard me do was basically say the name of a particular app that I wanted Windows to go to. And then once I was on that page, I could either say scroll down and it would just scroll down one section, or I could say start scrolling down and it would keep scrolling until we told it to stop. From there, I can do things like I can say show numbers, click on a particular component of the website and be taken through to there. So quite powerful capability there. But what if I want to get the best of both worlds of maybe dictating to my computer, but also having it let me take commands? Well, we can do that as well. We can jump back and forth between commanding our device and dictating with it. So let's have that one last look at this feature before we finish up. Voice access wake up. Dictation mode. So now that I'm in dictation mode, you'll see that it works exactly like the feature we saw earlier. Types out anything that I say for me. Command mode. But now that I'm out of command mode, or in command mode, it's not going to dictate anything that I say. It's going to listen out for key commands. Close Word. Voice access sleep. Show numbers. Show numbers. Okay, so that didn't work too well at the end there, but mostly that's it keeping up with my voice as I try and explain the different features that are going to show there. But you saw there that basically what I was able to do is jump back and forth between command mode and dictation mode to control my device with my voice. So that's a kind of few of the features. Obviously, we don't have a huge amount of time today to look at them all, but what I wanted to kind of make it clear is that Windows 11 gives us that capability to have accessibility features built right there. You don't need to go looking for them. They're available right where you need them. And to me, it's a really compelling reason to upgrade to Windows 11. We have great stories around it being great for hybrid work, being great for security, but for me, accessibility really is a prime reason to maybe give that a go. So that's the main things I wanted to talk about today. I guess, Mark, I can see there's perhaps a few questions that have come in. Maybe we can sort of work our way through and take those. I can stop sharing my screen if that makes things easier. Just do that.
Yeah, thanks, Ben, and thanks for everyone that's attending and listening in. I personally found that really interesting, particularly the voice access element. I work in a marketing role, so I'm not as close to kind of accessibility day to day as possibly other people are on this call, but definitely that was kind of something that I hadn't necessarily seen as something comparable before. So yeah, just very lots of thanks for speaking today and sharing your screen and sharing that information. There are a few questions in the Slido Q&A, and I would encourage anyone else to put your questions in. Should I read out a couple of these to you and see if we can get some of these answered?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, if there's some we don't have time to answer just now, I will go back and answer them as best I can afterwards as well.
That would be lovely, and I'm sure all our guests would really appreciate that. So the first one I'll just ask you is, it relates to language, a language question here. So can you have captions in Welsh if the speakers in the video or live meeting are speaking Welsh? But I guess there's a wider question there about language as well.
Yeah, so as things are today, the live captions feature that we saw today only works in English. I would hope that over time we'll see more languages in that feature, but yeah, unfortunately, just English. It quotes with my Scottish accent version of English, but unfortunately it doesn't give us any other languages as things are today.
Lovely, thanks, Ben. A bit of a devilish question here, possibly. What is the accuracy rate like for the captions? I don't know if you can kind of give a measurement there or any kind of comment. I know that's a bit of a lot of questions are asked about how accurate captions are.
Yeah, exactly. I can't give a percentage figure on it, but I've found in using it myself that the accuracy is incredible. Quite clearly, it's not going to ever get to the same ability as a live interpreter doing that for you. But I found it just amazing, really. And I've used it even in settings where I'm wanting to demo something to a room full of people. And maybe I'm moving around and people are asking questions, and all the time it's picking that up and captioning it with a very good accuracy rate. So yeah, I mean, I'd encourage you to give it a try yourself and see how you find it. But I've found so far the accuracy's been just really remarkable, particularly when you think that it's doing all that processing there on your device. No, I found it great.
Yeah, and performed very well in your demo, I must say, as well.
Which is always good.
Yeah. Another question here, very specific. So, is voice access designed to be used in conjunction with narrator or other screen readers, e.g. reading out the clickable options?
Yeah, I mean, you can mix all these features together. So yes, you could jump back and forth. So you'll see one of the things I was doing through that was I was telling voice access to, actually, better not inadvertently turn it on, I'll just turn it off on my device. I was telling voice access to wake up, and then it starts listening for any commands. And I was also then telling it to do voice access sleep. So certainly you could use a combination of things, having narrator tell you about certain features, use voice access to then in turn control the device. So yeah, they are complementary technologies in that regard if you need them to be.
Brilliant, thanks, Ben. And then a couple of comments here that I guess I'll ask, and it might be more you making comment on these, but somebody just making the comment, I use Smartbox with head control mouse. It's fab for its primary purpose, but still far from smooth in terms of general computer use. Any access captioning tips?
Yeah, it's not something that I've obviously had direct usage of, but yeah, I mean, I guess specifically asking about captioning tips there. Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but yeah.
No worries. I guess if that person wants to provide any further clarity, but I appreciate that was more of just possibly a comment from someone, so I won't linger on that too much.
Yeah.
I've got a comment here asking about, with the acquisition of Nuance, does Windows 11 speech recognition benefit from things Nuance used to do particularly well, such as medical and legal terms?
It's something we're really excited to see what we'll be able to do now that we have Nuance as part of the Microsoft family. I don't have anything to announce or say on that, but we're really excited to see those capabilities brought into what we already do with Windows 11. So yeah, I guess watch this space on that front and see what happens next.
And I guess just for anyone that's on the call that maybe isn't aware of what nuance is there any kind of one sentence introduction, or are you not that close to it to be able to?
What in terms of who nuance is? I mean, if you've ever used things like Dragon, which is kind of one of the big sort of dictation platforms out there, that's who nuance is. They create those tools. So, huge capabilities on all things speech recognition. So yeah, exciting times.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ben. I can't actually see any other questions immediately in the chat. So if there's anyone that has a question. I guess one question just for you in general is, post this kind of breakout session, is there any direction for particular places you would go for people if they want to learn more about the Windows 11 accessibility features? I know a lot of it is kind of fairly intuitive, but is there any kind of resources or anything that you would direct people towards?
Yeah, so we have a couple of places. One is UK specific, where we as accessibility champions have produced basically this page that is full of tips and tricks. So it's a good place to go for just short videos on how to use particular features. You may have actually seen me use it there during the demo. What I can do is I can drop that into the chat, the links to that. And then we have a general page that is on all things Windows 11 accessibility that really lets you dive deep on any features that you want to look at. So what I can always do is drop those into the chat just at the end of this session for you to follow up on. Yeah, take a look at those.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Ben. There's one more comment that I'm just going to pull out. It was great to see a demo of these features, and I can relate to the Scottish accent not being picked up.
Yeah.
So I always feel like that's a nice comment to possibly end the session on, as we are very close to the end time. But as I mentioned, if anyone else has any other questions, please do put them in the Q&A. And again, I just want to extend my thanks on behalf of AbilityNet, Ben, for you coming online and doing that demo.
Brilliant.
So yeah, otherwise I think we'll wait a couple of minutes and then the session will obviously end. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.